guys. So, I was thinking about this because I remembered this from D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, and I also remembered this from some old book that I read that is somewhere that I can't find, but I did find enough stuff to show you this. So these are your different types of wizards that you would typically find in like a D&D game. Or even, of course, now in video games, but this was, before then. These things were, they weren't made up for Dungeons and Dragons. They were taken from mythology. So a lot of things from Dungeons and Dragons was taken from mythology. So it's a fun source. It's a very fun source when you want to look at different myths and things. The D&D books tends to just kind of boil it down to the basics. So anyway, I was just going to go through this because I remembered a particular type of wizard, but I'm going to go ahead and read these for you. The wizard is the most common spellcaster in the fantasy world. They tend to be old, powerful, wise, and hermit-like. A mage is a magically oriented warrior. They also tend to be younger and brash. So, let me think here. So this person is putting, the categories aren't that important. It's not that important because it's going to change. It's the names of the things that it's helpful to remember. So, a mage would be a wizard that is a warrior. A sorcerer, a dark spellcaster with a knack for turning invisible, teleporting, or shape-shifting. So a sorcerer is basically an illusionist, making people see things that aren't there or not see things that are there. Okay, so a necromancer is an individual with a magical control over the dead, undead, and underworld. Some of these types are things that the occultists practice. So necromancy is one big one that they do practice. The rituals for necromancy, of course, are pretty awful. You may even read or have heard about some of them. I watched a video recently, Illuminati ritual, where they were taking the child and putting them in a closed grave. So that is necromancy. You're playing around with the dead bodies. So yeah, gross. Pyromancer, mage with talent for fire. Chronomancer with ice. Telemancer, a mage with a talent for mind tricks like telekinesis or mind reading. So telekinesis, of course, is the manipulating of objects from a distance. Right? Here's the one that I remembered that I wanted to talk about. Chronomancer, a wizard with a talent for time, warps, and temporal anomalies. A chronomancer uses time to change things. Yeah. Alright, we'll just quick go rest of these. An elemental mage, a mage who takes the raw power, be it fury or calm of the four elements, water, fire, earth, and air, as well as energy and spiritual wisdom into their being, and projects it into an attack or a healing spell, often called a shaman. Okay, so we're familiar with these things in the modern times, maybe not quite with these names. Alright. A summoner, an individual with powers to summon and bind creatures from other worlds and dimensions. So this summoner would be somebody that would summon demons. A witch, an old hag witch who sets curses and evil omens. It says old hag woman, but actually this is your most common practitioner. These are your Wiccans. They put curses on people. They practice candle magic and sex magic. So common, they can be summoners, right? A warlock. Traditionally, a warlock is a male witch. However, the World of Warcraft, whatever. A druid is a man who heals wounds and performs human sacrifices. So this is what we've got going on with the Bilderbergers and their what's that group where they have the meeting? I think that's the one where they have the sacrifice to this huge owl thing. These are your druids. Divinator and astrologist can see into the future and read palms, etc. Right, so that's one person's interpretation. There are others here. I'll put the link. This next person has got a lot more types here. Druids worship the powers of nature and the 5 elements. Druid magic is usually performed in groups, usually relates to agriculture or nature-related events. So I went off on a tangent. That's why it took me so long this morning with this here, because actually there are some myths that I had never heard of before regarding druids and a group of people called the Benedonti. So I'm going to go into that in a different video. It was really interesting. And just a fair warning right now, Paul Johnston, this is going to be long. Paul Johnston told me that he liked my videos a lot because my voice is very soothing, but not in a sexual way. And by that I inferred that he that he goes to sleep to my videos. I bet you do, Paul. I bet you do. He complained that the one was too long. Complaining. Hey, Paul, stay asleep and stay awake and pay attention. Stay awake and pay attention, Paul. It's important stuff. All right. So anyway, I'm not going to read all these. I'll put in the link. A hedge wizard. That's what we are now. A hermit. A magic user who lives on his own away from society. Anyway, that's pretty interesting. See, this person has a lot more. A Viking. People who follow the Druids religion, where the Druids are the priests, the Vikings are the common believers. So there's some confusion here, even with this type of thing, because what we're looking at is, so for example, you have your personality tests. I don't know if any of you have ever taken those. Probably quite a few of you have at least heard of them. But you know, you have your different types of personalities, and so say you have your controller, your controlling personality. You have your bad controller, person who's very dominating and dictator-like, who isn't fair, who is selfish, you know. But you could also have your good controlling personality, who is a good leader, and you know, keeps the group safe and all of that type of thing. So same thing here. In D&D, every type of wizard or whatever, magic user, most of them could be either good or bad, because it's according to the wizard's or the person's personality, right? So, and their intentions and their choices, right? Intention and choice are everything. So, anyway, let's see here. We're gonna go forward now. If you're a Christian and you're offended by all of this, you should probably just leave this video now. I am Christian and I love you guys. I love you guys very much. But I think, you know, I just hope you guys will look at the programming and just accept the idea that in the churches there has been a lot of programming and it's not all good. And just you need now is the time to question everything that you have learned including the things that you have learned in your church, all right? And including the things that you learned from your parents and what they learned in church. So, you know, there have been lies and programming placed in the churches just for the purpose of these times, so that certain people will not be able to question the things that they've been programmed to believe all of their lives. So I just hope that some of you will, you know, keep an open mind. We are the observers. We are the observers in this scenario. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to question what you've learned in your life. And if you're offended by this type of thing because you're Christian, just please click off. You know. Anyway, we are going to look at chronomancy, because this applies to us. Okay? Chronomancy is divination of the best time to do something. The determination of lucky and unlucky days, especially popular in ancient China. Well, I don't know about that. I think that might be Mandela. The term chronomancy is stemming from the Greek chronos, meaning time. We'll look at that too. Chronos, the time god, not today. And the word mantia, meaning divination. It's also used in fiction to refer to a school of magic involving supernatural manipulation of time. The best known historical figure that has been attributed the power of chronomancy is the Count Saint Germain. This guy's important. We're going to look at that. Yeah, I have an old book on my shelf with a whole big section on Count Saint Germain. So I looked at the wiki. I like my book better, so we'll go to that also in another video. So now I did a lot of searching for Chronomancer, and it's not an easy thing to find. The D&D stuff is pretty easy to find, but the difficulty with Chronomancer is, as usual, they put these things in video games. And so you're going to have pages and pages of search results that are just video games. So you might find some interesting stuff, but that tends to be extrapolation. You know, you might as well look at your Dungeons and Dragons and go back to that, even though, you know, I'm not saying this is 100% true stuff, all right? We're just reading and studying, okay, guys? So, but anyway, I did find this. This is very good article on a chronomancer, all right? No, this is not the one. That's not the one. What was I doing here? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So, yeah. So this is a different thing. We're not going to look at that today. That's a whole other video. All right. So we'll just look at the D&D one. It was a little bit long. I'll try to talk fast and not sexy for Paul Johnson so that he could go to sleep. Shh, everybody quiet. Paul's going to sleep. All right. I'll just read this for you guys. Might skip some things, but I will put the link. The Chronomancer is a master of time itself and a skilled warrior. He uses his bending of the flow of time and his talents as a fighter to bring about change on the battlefield. They understand perfectly the past, present, and future and can see into events to make any desired changes. Chronomancers are cunning tacticians who can cancel and nullify the actions of others and vanish in the blink of an eye. That's your illusionist that I was showing you before. Your sorcerer, I think it was. He can shift in and out of different time periods, making him an anomaly within time itself, often existing at different points at the same time. So that's us, guys. That's what we do. That's us. So I'll read that again. He shifts out and in and out of different time periods, making him an anomaly within time itself, often existing at different points in the same time. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really having a sinus like. I'm nasally. I know my voice is nasally. I'm sorry. Go to sleep, Paul. Chronomancers are fighters and tacticians. They use their fighting ability to conquer their enemies while bending time to get the advantage on them. For those fighting them, the Chronomancer poses an unexpected, unpredictable hazard. For those who work with them, a Chronomancer can be a chaotic but wise and dangerous ally, keeping his friends from unseen dangers. So, let's see. He requires decent wisdom, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Alignment. Though the Chronomancer knows what laws are and knows how to follow them, the Chronomancer himself often must choose what is best for time itself. They often understand the difference between a fixed event, such as the exploding of Pompeii, the bombing of Pearl Harbor, the fall of Rome, the difference, and a common occurrence, such as drinking a mug of ale, buying a loaf of bread, and crossing a bridge. So what they're saying here, with a fixed event and a common occurrence, these two categories of things affect time differently. So that might be helpful for us to know. Because of this knowledge, Chronomancers often fall into neutral or chaotic alignments, and very, very rarely into the lawful side of the alignment grid. Because they're saying Chronomancer must make choices depending on what is supposed to happen. So now in D&D, you know, the Chronomancer, I think knew, you know, yeah, it's like at 12th level, you know, he could see 4 days ahead. Okay, knowledge of time. With this skill, the Chronomancer can determine if certain actions will be good or bad, if there is an ambush waiting ahead, or if he is on the correct path to get to his destination. This is not a knowledge of people, places, or things, just events, sort of like a skill that helps predict those what-if questions. Because of the sensitive nature of time and quantum theory and all that jazz, sometimes it is best for the Chronomancer to keep the results of rolls involving this skill between himself and the DM. Some people are supposed to die. Some cities are meant to get destroyed, and some things just can't be fixed. And as a Chronomancer, they have to accept these fates. Okay, so obviously this is exaggerated for the sake of the game. But you can see similarities, right? I mean, you guys can see this. Chronomancer is a skilled fighter, blah, 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 da, da, da. Foresight, time leap. Okay, so the time leap, this allows the Chronomancer, the warrior, to instantly traverse through the fabric of time to another location. Alright. To others, this appears as an extremely quick blur, or simply vanishing and reappearing again. For the Chronomancer, this ability requires a full action to activate, but can be used to get behind an enemy for a surprise attack. This does not allow the Chronomancer to go through objects or walls. It simply allows him to walk through time itself to get to another location quickly, and he must be able to somehow see his destination. So some of you talking about skipping, you had experiences where you skipped a little or skipped a little back in time. You know, I'd be curious if anybody's family or relatives have seen any of us maybe us move a little blurry, you know, or shift. Um, you know, that could be what's happening, a little bit of a time leap there. Okay. Book of Time. So why? Yeah. Um, yeah, I think some of us probably have something like this. These strange warriors, due to their bonding with the flow of time, often keep detailed diaries of events in the past, present, and future. Because of this book and the Chronomancer's knowledge and skills with time itself, he gains knowledge of events that have happened and those that haven't happened. Okay, so yeah, I can see because you're tracking the changes here and you want your book. I know. I think we're all starting to get like I had started to make this notebook and it's getting kind of full, so it doesn't prove anything. It just has all these things in it that I'm thinking about, you know, because of what's going on with my life, where I'm jumping through time here. All right, speed boost, yeah, okay. Rearrange. He gets down his manipulation of time down to a science. With the rearrange ability, the Chronomancer can literally bend time to his will for a brief moment and completely change what might be history. Alright. The Chronomancer gains great power over the flow of time. He understands and can even command time itself to various extents. Alright. Okay, so cancellation and confirmation. I didn't understand this. Maybe somebody else had something to say about this. But I'll read it. Cancellation. This spell-like ability allows the Chronomancer to erase an action from the fabric of time itself. By his own will, he could challenge fate and deny someone else success. With cancellation, the Chronomancer can completely nullify any physical action that was made or going to be made during that day. Yes, this means that he can use his knowledge, time, skill to learn of an ambush ahead and then use cancellation to cause it never to happen. So confirmation. To every coin there's heads and tails, and this is the reverse of cancellation. Where cancellation erases an action, confirmation forces it to happen. Okay, so it has to do with choice, choices somebody has made. So this is the observer principle. Actually, when I read this again. So this is like the Schrodinger's cat here, you know. So confirmation, you're the observer, you're affecting the decisions and flow of time made, so you're actually affecting the decision of whether or not the cat was put in the box. That's the way that I read it. So to these actions that have or haven't not yet happened in the world, any attacks or skill checks that are accomplished because of this ability are simply successes. This means that the Chronomancer can spot the rogue sneaking up on a guard. Both of these abilities violate time itself, so one would advise caution when employing these tricks to gain an advantage over a situation. Maybe that guard was supposed to die that night. Maybe the king's carriage was supposed to be ambushed for a new, better kingdom. So these types of time stuff, cancellation and confirmation, I kind of see like, I don't know, this is retro causality in a way. You know, it doesn't seem right to me. Like I won't be trying to do that. As a master of time itself, the Chronomancer is well versed in traveling through the fabric of time, the time shift ability. time shift ability. The Chronomancer can send a number of targets through a rift in time. This includes himself. This can be hours, days, weeks, or years, depending on the power of the Chronomancer. The Chronomancer can travel a maximum of plus 4 years through the rift, either backward or forward in time. Where X, we're talking about game stuff there. Okay, that's not that. Alright, time stops. Spell-like ability functions exactly as the time stop spell with the caster level, blah blah blah. Oh, I thought there was something in there. Sorry about that. Forget time stop. That was dumb. Just forget it. Alright, we're getting there. We're getting there. Not too long. An epic level Chronomancer is so involved with the flow of time that he himself has become ageless. At this point, he has become fused with time itself and gained some great benefits from the change. Alright, body of time. The Chronomancer has become one with the powers and flow of time. This grants him all the benefits of being a native outsider from the plane of time. Temporal sight. Can apply his book of time. Let's see. A temporal sight. This allows the Chronomancer to see into the past or hear a future conversation. How far back or forward he is able to see or hear is determined by his time shift ability. So I do hear at times conversations. I know I'm hearing people's conversations. Yeah, I know who they are. Like, I recognize people's voices. Timeless. The Chronomancer has become ageless. He no longer ages, can no longer be targeted by spells that alter time, age, or those that affect the mind. Face for the ages. This allows the Chronomancer to appear as any age, or even dead, at will. This goes along with the illusionist. Right? So the sorcerer / illusionist, closely related to the Chronomancer. Okay, so I think that was all of it there. Let's see. Okay, there's a little more. Often with religion. Here's how we play a Chronomancer. Often called the warriors of time, the Chronomancers are devoted to the ideas and concepts of time. They often worship gods or goddesses that have to do with the passing of time. They believe that time is sacred and should be cherished, and will pursue those who would seek to undo a fixed event in the flow of time. So that has to do something with kind of loosely related to the Benindati that I looked at today. Read a lot about that, so that'll have to be maybe even 2 videos. Chronomancers are often well perceived by others that work with them. Because of their ability to manipulate time and their dedication to keeping the flow of time running as it should, the Chronomancers are usually seen as a type of protector by others. As stated above, Chronomancers often take a predictive position in battle, using their unique time-based abilities to get the upper hand on difficult foes. Sorry guys, my sinuses are kind of messed up. I mean, it's not like phlegmy, but just like, I don't know what's going on up there. Despite being fighters, the Chronomancers usually try to end fights with minimal bloodshed. Advancement. Advancing a Chronomancer means making full use of the character's temporal abilities. So we need to learn to use this. We need to learn what our abilities are and what we could do. You know, I'm sorry to any Christians who think, well, we shouldn't, mess around, but I'm sorry. You know, if God gives me an ability, I'm going to learn how to use it. You know, I'm not going to sit around and tell myself, I'm not going to get out a whip and whip myself, for this happening to me and and we are the observers. All right, so if we have abilities, develop them and use them. All right, I mean, so let's see. Okay, daily life. Mercenaries are devotees to protecting the events that happen through time. They cherish history and they adore the future. Some take jobs working as clocksmiths. Interesting. Generally, because of their unique ability, the Chronomancers think of themselves as better than others, but they try not to be smug. Let's see. Most Chronomancers keep a strict code of ethics which generally do not follow common laws, as these codes dictate protecting time and how to preserve events that are meant to happen, even if those events cause massive genocide. So what they're saying here is most Chronomancers follow we have a code of ethics. Code of ethics, but we don't follow common laws because we know that the system is evil. You know, NPC reactions, yeah, NPCs, yeah, we have them. We're like living with NPCs. Most NPCs would not know who a Chronomancer is just by looking at one. They look and act like normal people for the most part. Once their identity is known, people treat them depending on what they are doing. People treat them, the NPCs treat the Chronomancer depending on what they are doing. A Chronomancer who keeps lots of secrets might be treated with suspicion and curiosity, while one who recklessly destroys the fabric of time will be treated with fear and displeasure. So, and then it didn't say this, but then it talked about Chronomancer being viewed often as a protector. And I'm thinking, and I see this, sometimes the NPCs, you know, they want to please you. They want to help you. They act like it's their, like, they want to do it. They're almost like trying to get your favor, you know. So I thought this was interesting. The NPCs react to you depending on what you are doing, what you're doing. So that might be something to observe and try to figure that out. All right. So I also found, I'll put up this YouTube. I'm not going to play this song because it's super long and it's super heavy on the symbols. It's kind of it's okay. Not real good, but it's okay. Warp Riders, the Chronomancer, Hubris, number 1, and the Chronomancer number 2, Nemesis. Alright, so I just am going to show you the lyrics real quick. It's kind of interesting. I don't know, you know, you just have these feelings about things or synchronicities and things stand out. So, I don't know, should I read the song lyric? I'll read the song lyric. Paul might not be asleep yet. My voice is going too. My voice is seriously going right now. Okay. You know what? I'm just going to put the links because my voice is going. Autarch that come up in this lyric. Just so you know when you read it, the autarchism is a political philosophy that promotes the principles of individualism, the moral ideology of individual liberty and self-reliance. It rejects compulsory government and supports the elimination of government in favor of ruling oneself to the exclusion of ruling by others. So that just ties in real quick to the Chronomancer, his lifestyle, his or her philosophy. And you guys can see that, of course, why that would be, you know. Yeah, semi, anarchist, but it would be someone that doesn't believe in the system, is diametrically opposed to all of this control that's going on. So. Anyway, I'm sorry, guys, my voice is going, and I'm just having a hard time. I slept most of the day today. My sinuses feel pretty screwed up too. So, I don't know. Anyway, that was pretty interesting. If anybody else has, they can find an interesting article on Chronomancer, internet or whatever, because this is a tough thing to find online. But I would like to find an article that's not related to Dungeons and Dragons. So. Anyone have any suggestions where I could go? Maybe I'll make a part 2. Anyway, I love you guys. Have a great day. God bless you, and just take it easy today, and get as much rest as you can. And sorry about my voice today. Love ya.